Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate. This is Diamond Painting and Dr. Pepper, and today I'm coming at you with a WIP Chat. It's a little bit late and I will discuss later why that is. But anyway, you guys are probably used to me being a little bit late with these, so nothing new I guess. But I do have a more legitimate reason this time that I'll go over later. So as to what we're working on today, I started a new kit. This is Rose Library by Ivy Dolomore. And this is for the Ivy Along that is starting in May. And it's being hosted by Michaela Renee. And it does not require a new start. So I went ahead and kitted this up now because it's ginormous. And I know I'm not going to finish it all in May anyway. So I'm getting a start on it right now. I am using a Muni-Made tray, and it's so cute. And then a C'est Plus Beau Autour pen, which you guys have seen me use before on I'm Here for the Food. And it goes really well with this kit too. And in my pen, I'm actually trying out the new Sparkle Putty from Diamond Art Club. And so I'm excited to test this out more. I did do this one little section here last night, and it worked really well. And so, yeah, I'm excited to use more of it. If you guys would like to see an unboxing of this kit, as well as the Sparkle Putty and a few other fun goodies, hint, this washi tape is part of it, be sure to tune back in on Wednesday for my What You Got Wednesday video I'll be posting, because I unbox all those things in that video. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. This one has the new perforated cover from Diamond Art Club, and I love it. So I'm really excited to be working on another kit that uses that. Because this kit is so big, my setup is a little bit wonky this time for as far as where my camera is and where my mic is, so I'm having a little bit of trouble seeing my containers, so if things look a bit weird this time, I apologize. Oh, I have nails on for the first time in a long time, so I have to remember to use some tweezers to open my containers, otherwise I might pop my nails off. It feels good to have nails on again. I missed it. If you guys haven't been around my channel for a while, you might not know that I did do like a big order of press-on nails a few months ago, and unfortunately it was stolen from my mailbox, so I haven't purchased any again until now, and these I just got at my local Target, so I didn't have to worry about them being stolen in the mail. I'm a little bit worried now anytime I have something shipped that's going to be put in my mailbox, because I'm not the only one who has had that issue here in our neighborhood, unfortunately. They use like a cluster mailbox system where all the mailboxes are together in a group, like a couple of blocks away from where I live. And I think people have figured out how to make copies of the mail keys and stuff to open the package boxes. And it's kind of ridiculous that there isn't better security for stuff like that. So I'm tempted to get a P.O. box again, but I was so bad at actually going to my P.O. box to like check it. The only reason it worked for me back when I had my P.O. box was because I had to mail things out often, because I got my P.O. box originally because I had opened like an art Patreon, and I needed a P.O. box for the return address for when I sent out my Patreon packages. And because I was doing that so often, I usually just dropped everything off at the post office, or I was going to the post office a lot to buy stamps and stuff. So that's why I did manage to check my P.O. box on more of a regular basis. But I know myself, and since I no longer have a Patreon where I'm shipping stuff out, I feel like I would just put off going to the post office and would barely ever check my P.O. box. I'm so bad with mail and stuff like that. I'm curious, will you guys be joining in any diamond painting events in May? We have the Ivy Along that's happening, and I know there's a few others that I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm excited to hear if you guys are going to be doing any of those. There's always some community event going on, and I love that about diamond painting because it's so fun to like share what you're working on with other people who are working on something in the same theme or by the same artist. It's awesome. So I am recording this on Sunday after it was supposed to go up. And the reason why is I'm going to put a content warning here. Sorry guys, I just started recording this video and my husband decided that this was the perfect time to mow the lawn, which I really appreciate him doing, but also I wish I'd known he was planning to do that before I started recording the WIP Chat. You can probably hear it, so I'm going to put this on pause. I'll maybe continue recording my diamond painting and do a little time lapse for you, and then resume chatting once he's done. Okay, I'm back. So, I'm not sure where I cut, but as I was starting to say, trigger warning for animal death. So if you don't want to hear about that, just go forward a few minutes and you should be past it. I was watching a show with my husband last night, and after which I was going to come and record my WIP Chat. But as we were watching the show, I received a call, and it was my daughter's boyfriend, who never calls me. He always texts. So, of course, my alarm bells started going off, and I answered. And the first thing he said was, "Sam's going to be home soon." I think he was talking to someone else. And I immediately relaxed a little bit because that meant that Sam was okay. But then when he talked to me, I discovered that what had happened was they were both out at different events. He's a musician and he was giving a performance, and Sam was somewhere else. And when he got home that evening, he couldn't find their cat, and eventually he did find her under a blanket and she was no longer alive. And they're not sure what happened. He was trying to get my advice on how to tell Sam and what to do next. And so I spent the evening on the phone with them and just kind of going through the grieving process with them. This is a cat that they had adopted as soon as they moved in together about 3 years ago. And she was 4 when they adopted her, so she was only 7. And they're not sure what happened. She had been to the vet just a month ago, and she was in fine health as far as anyone could tell. But what I told them is that cats, especially cats, are notorious for hiding any symptoms when something's wrong with them. So they were feeling guilty, like they had done something wrong, and I was trying to tell them that it's not their fault and that they were good cat owners and they did everything right. And sometimes that kind of stuff just happens, but it's just really sad. So I felt upset and didn't really want to record a WIP Chat last night after that. I kind of just went to bed. And then today I'm still kind of feeling in my head about it. I feel really bad for them. That was their baby, and they loved her so much. So she had a really good life with them and everything, but I hate that this happened to them. So I'm going to spend the rest of the WIP Chat trying to ignore the way I'm feeling about that and just, make it a normal WIP Chat. But I felt like I should at least address it because it is affecting, I guess, the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm talking. So if you notice things are a little off, it's just because I'm feeling some kind of way. So anyway, okay, if you have skipped forward, we are now through that discussion and we'll get into the regular WIP Chat here. Sorry, this one's been kind of wild. I'm already missing colors. There's a bunch of hearts that I missed. I love starting a new project and trying to learn where I put all the symbols in my containers and stuff, and what order they're in. It definitely slows things down a little bit, but it is part of the fun of starting something new. So, other than that, my week has been, well, busy as usual, but pretty good. Last weekend, I took our two older dogs, sorry for the bump, I took our two older dogs to the vet because they needed a checkup and they needed rabies shots so that we could renew their licenses. And my oldest dog, Chewy, he is turning 11 in June, and he has recently formed some lumps in various places on his body, and we weren't sure. One of them is definitely just like a fatty lump that older dogs get sometimes, but the other two were a little bit firmer, so we weren't sure what those might be. So the doctor did a biopsy on those two, and one of them we're still waiting on the results for, and then the other one came back as a cancerous skin tumor. So he's going to have to go have that removed whenever the doctor is available. We're still waiting to get that scheduled. And he also had a double ear infection, which he is prone to getting. So they were able to put in some ear medicine and get his rabies shot. And then Lucy, our middle dog, just got her rabies shot and she's fine. And then I went to, because I had received a thing from the county that Lucy was due for license renewal, but she needed a new rabies certificate. But I never got one for Chewy, even though we typically do them at the same time. So I called in and I was like, hey, I have this postcard for Lucy, but I want to pay for both of them at the same time, and I don't have a postcard for Chewy for some reason. And they looked into their records and found that Chewy had been deactivated in their system 2 years ago, which is super weird because 2 years ago would have been a year into his 3-year renewal period. So I'm not sure, and they're not sure why that happened, but they reactivated him. So now we can get him all squared away. And yeah, that was kind of weird. Anyway, so got that taken care of. And then on Sunday last week, I got to puppy sit for my dad because he was going to go meet up with a friend who lives about an hour away and have lunch with her. And he didn't want to leave his puppy alone for that long. So he brought him over here. That's little Apollo. And I got to watch him for a few hours. And he mostly just sat on my lap and conked out. He was so cute. I was working that day to try and catch up from vacation, and I just worked away and he slept on my lap for the most part. And then he did get up a couple of times and play with my dogs for a while, and that wore him out, and then he was back on my lap. So he's so cute. I love getting updates from my dad on how he's doing, and he's doing a good job. He doesn't wake my dad up in the night or anything. He's a good boy. But then later that evening, after Apollo had gone back home with my dad, my husband he likes to close all the blinds at night and everything. And so he has this ritual where he'll go through the house and like close the blinds and make sure everything's locked up. And neither of us had used the back door that day, but as he was closing up the blinds at the back door, he stepped on a yellow jacket inside the house. No idea how it got there, but it stung him. So he ended up with a yellow jacket sting. And man, that hurts. So that was kind of random. My husband has this tendency to like get hurt and not know how it happens. This time we know how it happens, but we don't know why, because that's just really random that a yellow jacket was on the floor in our house. No windows were open. The door hadn't been opened. So really weird. Sorry, I'm all kind of scatterbrained. But he's better now. It's been a week and he's pretty much healed up. Still just super random. And Fletcher, my son Fletcher, is actually allergic to yellow jackets. So when I told him about that, he was kind of freaked out about it because he came to visit just a couple days later. He rode the train up and we just hung out he managed to get 2 days off in a row for once at work because a lot of times his days off are staggered. But he had 2 days off in a row, so he decided to come up and visit. And we hung out for a couple days, and it was really fun. He had done this new thing. I don't know if you have heard me talk about my spinny wheel I use to decide which whip to work on. He uses that for his diamond painting whips, and also he's reading several books at once, so he uses the spinning wheel to decide which book to read a chapter of next. And while he was here, he decided to make a spinny wheel for what we should do next. So he made one that was like TV show Mom's Choice, TV show Fletcher's Choice, and then video game Mom's Choice, video game Fletcher's Choice. So, and then the other one was like board game. And that was really fun because we just let the spinny wheel choose who got to pick the next thing. And we got to watch the pilot episode of Firefly, which was my favorite show. And then we watched some episodes of The Good Place, which is Fletcher's favorite show. And we played dice games and Mario Kart. And it was a good time. I think the spinny wheel is a fun way to like let randomness decide. And it's just exciting to see what it's going to pick next, you know? So it was kind of difficult, a little bit more than usual for this visit because it was during the week and I was working. So during the day, Fletcher would kind of sit in my office with me and diamond paint. Oh my gosh, loud people driving by. Anyway, he'd sit in my office and diamond paint. And then once I was off work for the evening, we really got to hang out a lot more. And it was kind of like a belated birthday celebration for him because he didn't actually get to see me on his birthday. But we did also celebrate his birthday a couple weekends before his birthday. So yeah, just some extra time with him. And I'll take as much of that as I can get. So this might be a shorter video than usual just because of my current mindset and everything that's been going on. I also don't have as much to talk about this time, but the coolest thing that happened this week was that my son got to do this choir festival as part of his high school choir, where they had an event for like all of the local high schools in Oregon. And it was hosted at one of the local high schools, but there were about 20 different high school participants, like throughout the whole state. And about 180 kids did this festival. And the cool part about it was that it was a festival and concert with Avi Kaplan from previously of Pentatonics. He was their initial bass singer. And now he's doing solo stuff because he's left Pentatonics. But he came to Oregon and did a whole weekend choir festival with all the kids. And then they put on a concert last night. And the kids basically got to sing professional backup for a professional artist. It was really cool because they sang some of my favorite Pentatonics arrangements, including like the Daft Punk medley and the Hallelujah song that they do so well. And it sounded amazing with all the choral kids in the background and then Avi's deep bass voice, you know. So it was really neat that they got to do that. And now Casey can say that he has been a professional backup singer. So yeah, I'm really glad he got to take part in that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to yay or nay for the week. And then I'll probably wrap this up a bit early just because I am definitely in a distracted state of mind and not the best conversation partner right now. So I will go ahead and talk about last week's yay or nay. And the question was, do you have any phobias? And for me, it's a yes. I used to have really strong arachnophobia. Like even seeing a picture of a spider, I would be in tremors. Yeah, it was a lot. I have slowly and steadily improved in my fear of spiders. And now I pretty much only freak out if one is touching me or I see one unexpectedly very close to me. But yeah, if it's touching me, I will scratch my skin off, even after it's long gone. It's irrational. But it has improved. So some of my other phobias include claustrophobia. I don't like it if I can't stretch my arms out to the sides or stretch my legs out all the way. I get very upset. I would say probably a mild trypophobia, which is fear of like holes or patterns. For instance, if there are drills with little holes in them, it makes me feel nauseated. Or even sometimes if I'm working on a round drill canvas and like there's spaces between the drills, I notice it can set off my trypophobia sometimes, which is unfortunate. Luckily, that one's kind of mild, and I'm usually able to ignore it, although it does make me pretty sick sometimes. So I'd say probably my biggest and most irrational fear is something that's called, this is a really long word, guys, megalohydrothalassophobia. And that is specifically the fear of large objects underwater. So imagine like a sunken ship or a very large creature under the water or large trees underwater or anything like that. But for me, it's especially if it's something man-made. I don't know where it came from, but it absolutely terrifies me. It's similar to thalassophobia, which is just fear of large bodies of water, I think. But for me, it's not so much that, it's specifically objects underwater that freak me out. So like even when I go on a Disney cruise, which I love, I have to not think about the fact that so much of the ship we're on is under the water and what that would look like from underneath, because that freaks me out. It's such a weird fear to have, and I was shocked when I discovered that it was like an actual phobia, with a name because it seems so random that I didn't know anyone else had that fear. And I really wonder if there's any knowledge on why people have that phobia. But yeah, it's something else. So let's see what you guys said about your phobias. It looks like, once again, the yays have it this week with a score of 10 yays to 4 nays. So I guess most of us have some kind of phobia. We have Rose Tinted Diamonds says, "Yay, I have a phobia of mice and snakes." And as someone who owns snakes and has to feed them rodents, yeah, I can imagine that would be difficult. And then we had Diamond Painting with Jack said, "Yay, I'm deathly afraid of frogs. They absolutely freak me out. My friends send me frog memes all the time. I try to laugh it off, but it really upsets me." I think that's kind of mean. That's like if my friends sent me a bunch of pictures of spiders because they knew I was afraid of them. Like, what kind of friends do you have? But yeah, I think frogs are adorable. I'm so sorry that they scare you. Just like I think snakes are adorable, though, so it's interesting. I know there's people out there that think spiders are adorable. So it's really cool that we're all so different and have different things that bother us. I don't know, it's endlessly interesting to me the way the human brain works and how we're all so different. And then Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend, that's Courtney Lyons, said, "Yay-ish. I mean, I wouldn't call them real phobias, but they freak me out pretty badly. One is swarms of any type, ants, grasshoppers, even fish, but most especially swarms of bees. I think it stems from being attacked by a swarm of bees when I was 10 and got 27 stings. Oh my gosh, I think that would scar anybody for life." And then she continues, "Also spiders, so maybe swarms of spiders would be my biggest phobia." Girl, I'm right there with you. No thank you, that sounds awful. Diamonds and Sparkles says, "Yay, mine is called thalassophobia. I cannot even try to describe it because just thinking about the word triggers my anxiety." So yeah, I actually spoke about thalassophobia a bit earlier when I was talking about my megalohydrothalassophobia, so I understand that one. And I'm sorry if me talking about mine triggered yours. Trin says, "Not sure for me. I guess the I'm not sure about is how do you know it's a phobia? I hate snakes and all insects, but I feel that running away screaming is perfectly reasonable." And she says, "The word phobia to me makes me think that your fear is so great you can't function." And I think I looked it up and it just means an irrational fear of something. So I think that still counts. But yeah, that's 2 for snakes. I know there's a lot of people out there who have a phobia of snakes. And then Amanda Kuzdas said, "Nay on a phobia, just a healthy and rational, and therefore not a phobia, fear of firearms after a deer hunter's shot went through our dining room window on Thanksgiving Day one year. No injuries, just mental trauma." Good gracious, that is insane. And actually, as someone who has been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, it's legitimately something that I have feared happening before, since we live kind of on a corner, is that, I don't know, something would happen out in the street and it would come through and hit one of us inside. And I think in my case, it's more of a like irrational phobia because it isn't something that I think happens very often, but the fact that it actually happened to you guys is terrifying. Yikes. I'm really, really glad that there were no injuries, but I can imagine how much mental trauma something like that would cause. Wow. Thank you all for sharing your stories with me and getting a little vulnerable when talking about things that scare you. This week, I thought it would be interesting to chat a little bit about our YouTube habits. So for this week's Yay or Nay, let me know, do you guys use the subscriptions tab on YouTube? So yay if you watch videos from the subscription tabs, and nay if you don't. Like as opposed to the homepage or something like that. So yeah, let me know down below and tell me how your week was. I am so excited to be working on this new project, and I will catch you all in a video on Wednesday where I unbox this and some other goodies, so be sure to catch that one for some special treats. Thank you for being here, and I will see you then. Bye, everybody.